I forgot to blend in the middle of my forehead. Hello everybody, welcome back to the 6th episode of Vlogmas. I hope you have enjoyed this. We have now made it halfway through, and I wanted to just sit down with all of you and do a little talk, just because I wanted to. I didn't just want to sit and just yap, although I do love when we have other good yap sessions. I actually really wanted to do just fun makeup. I don't even really have like a specific look that I'm going for. I just want to put some eyeshadow on my face. This has kind of come from something I'm sure we're going to talk about a lot in this video, but my want to start dressing up more and just having fun with my look a little bit more. And I've seen a lot of people online going off about wear your eyeshadow, wear the eyeshadow, and putting color back on your face again and having fun makeup looks. And it reminded me of when I used to do that a lot. I actually have a few pictures still up on my Instagram of some looks that I've done in the past where I was just bored in my room and I just wanted to do makeup, so I did. And it's also really fun because I also used to be the dedicated makeup person in my friend group, where anybody who wanted advice or help on makeup, I was the person they turned to, but also if they wanted a more complicated look, I was also the person they asked to do it. So this just feels like a returning back to that time of just doing it to have fun again. I have my headband. Is this the one that I don't want to use this one. I want to use this one that is covered in foundation. It is clean. It's just stained, to be clear. Also means I'm going to be spending pretty much this entire video without my glasses on. No bangs jump scare, by the way. So let me get out. This is the makeup bag that I have been using for like my daily makeup and stuff. But I have a bigger thing to the side. It's too big for me to pick up right now. But I do have makeup that I don't typically wear every day out, along with my everyday stuff. So starting with e.l.f. Power Grip, the pink one. A lot of this feeling stemmed from my Halloween video, which I brought up a few times now, but I actually wanted to sit and talk about it. I've only ever gotten to like briefly mention it. Yeah, in that video I had kind of realized while doing my Fancy Nancy look, trying to get out all of the fun pieces I thought I still had, I realized I actually had to get rid of a lot of them. This is the Essence foundation stick, if anybody wanted to know. So yeah, I had to get rid of a lot, and that was mainly because of the fact that once I got diagnosed with celiac disease, I ended up dropping a lot of weight, which is actually pretty normal when this happens because your body, where did the brush go, has been holding on to just a lot of bloat and things to, I don't know the best way to explain it, but basically most people who have celiac disease or some sort of severe gluten intolerance, when they finally stop eating gluten, they usually have some sort of change to their body, and that usually comes in weight loss. And that happened to me, and I ended up having to get rid of a lot of my bigger clothes because they just no longer fit anymore. When it came time to actually, sorry if you could hear my mom, she's talking to somebody. I forgot to blend in the middle of my forehead. But yeah, when it came time to actually go and repurchase a lot of like my clothes and stuff in sizes that actually fit, I ended up buying a lot of basics because I just really wanted to have a wardrobe that I could more easily throw things together and not think about it. But that ended up meaning that I didn't have a lot of those personality, fun, creative pieces anymore. And for a while, I was actually pretty okay with that because it was also 2020 when this was going on. So pandemic and stuff, I was at home and I was entering college, and maybe a part of it was the idea of I'm in college now, I should be like an adult and I shouldn't have these things. My back. Yeah, I think a piece of it was that, but another piece was that I ended up really reverting into myself during those years because I was becoming an adult, which is a huge change. I was starting college, and I had finally was able to get away from my toxic, arguably abusive friend. I don't think I've really talked about this much. I can talk about it in another video, just my time with her specifically, but I ended up really reverting into myself at that time because I was just really scared. I completely forgot to show. I used the NYX Pro Fix concealer in the pink shade because their pink color corrector is a concealer on me. And I'm gonna use the, you can't see it anymore, but it's the Essence Baby Got Bronze as a contour. But yeah, I really kind of just needed time to feel safe again because being around her messed with me so much. And I remember at the time kind of starting to put a lot of the pieces together. You know, although I might not, where's the brush on paper? Yeah, although I might not have all the answers, because I also have really poor memory of that time, which is another story for another time. One of the good things that came from the pandemic was the fact that I could get away from her, and I was able to really start putting together why being around her specifically made me both feel extremely uncomfortable and extremely unsafe. And so that kind of ended up getting reflected in my outfits and my, honestly, just my entire self-care and self-love kind of stuff at the time, because I just really was struggling a lot with trying to figure out who I was away from her, because she was so controlling over who I was and who she wanted me to be that anytime I wanted to change or just have some sort of growth in that area, she fought against me extremely hard. I ended up being in a lot of situations where I wanted to try and do things, but she would just beat me down and make me either feel bad about it or that it was just a dumb idea, and I ended up just not doing it anymore and becoming this version of myself that she wanted me to be instead of the version of myself I wanted to be. Quick pause, I'm using the Milk Makeup little blush stick. It's the lip and cheek stick in Work. Now that I was away from her in my home because pandemic, I had started to really, basically I hit a reset button where I wanted to start from scratch. I had to get rid of a lot of things, like I said, and it just felt like the time to really sit down and be like, okay, what do I actually like? What do I actually want? Oh, I forgot to I like putting a little blush on my chin. I like the way it looks. I saw it in a TikTok once and I started doing it, and now I love it. So yeah, I really hit the reset button hard, and I ended up shifting really far away from a lot of the things that she liked about me, even things that I knew in my core I liked about myself, like knowing how to do really fun makeup and knowing and just being that friend to people that is just that just knows those types of things, who wears the really fun outfits that are all girly and pretty. That is a version of me that she really liked, and I still really love those things. But because she had fought against so many different versions of the myself I was trying to be, it felt like to get away from her, I really had to take a hard left away from what she saw me as, even if that meant shifting away from pieces of myself that I knew to be true to me. And so that has been a lot of the last, honestly, all of my college years is taking that dramatic hard left, but slowly but surely coming back to center. Not going back all the way to the right to where she was, but centering myself, basically. This is the Fit Me Matte and Poreless in 100 translucent, sorry. That brings us back to the present time, now that we're all cut up. So this last year, I've really, now that my college is officially over, and, you know, I am really starting to be my own person and figuring out a lot of that, because another thing that put a lot of any sort of self-development on pause was my health. I've really needed to lock in on that these last few years. Give everything a good set with the Milani Make It Last setting spray before I go in with eyes and stuff. I'm gonna use the e.l.f. brow pencil in like the blonde color. So yeah, I have a lot more of my health figured out now. I finally feel like I'm at a point where I can actually take the time to get to know myself and find those things that I love and miss again. Sorry, I focus when I do my eyebrows. And so I've been doing a lot of those again. Reading was one of them. I loved reading when I was a kid, and so going back to that now as a hobby has been really nice. Reading's also been really nice, because one thing you can do is, if you find stories that echo parts of your life or just remind you of things you've been through, it can feel really healing to see how a character would get through it and feel like you're not alone in that sense. But also it's been really nice with discovering different parts of myself and seeing how they're treated in stories. Is like a safe way of feeling like I can show off myself. It's one of the reasons I liked it's the second book in the Offside series. Is it Skid Out? That I will put the cover on the screen. But it's the second book. The character in it is going through a pretty big health crisis, just finding out that she tested positive for the BRCA1 gene, which means that she is very likely to develop breast cancer later in her life, and how that's really shifted all of her plans. But still being like this extra girl who loves pink and shopping and all of those things, I just really related to her a lot, and that book meant a lot to me to read, because again, it was just that feeling of I'm not the only person going through all this. It's eyeshadow time. We gotta lock in. I need a floofy brush. Oh, this is the brush I was looking for. It's over here. I'm taking this cool tone brown taupey color in my crease to start. I have no idea what this eyeshadow look's gonna be. I just know the colors I have, and I'm just gonna go until I make something I like. Yeah, that's been a good hobby for me, along with crocheting. Being able to get back to making things again has been really fun, because I used to also be the person who, like, I had a backpack in high school. It was a completely plain gray backpack, but it was entirely covered in enamel pins that I had found and accumulated over the years. So it was like, I was really proud of it. I'm taking a deeper brown in the outer corner and down at the bottom lash line too, because you don't look weird with what did she say? You don't look weird with eyeshadow under your eye, you're just not used to it. That's what she says. You know who I'm talking about on TikTok. But yeah, crocheting's been really nice, because I like having those pieces where it's like I made them, and it's just like a nice thing. I loved in dance when I got to like help embellish a costume or something as well. So I've been trying to do more self-expression like that, and remembering that although she had all these weird random rules for me to try and follow. They weren't real. They were just things that she made up. And even if they are, I don't want people in my life who try and make me act or look a certain way. I want to be myself, and the people that are gonna be around me are gonna show up for me. I am going to take, this is a Juvia's Place palette. I love Juvia's Place eyeshadows. They are amazing. This is like a pink palette. I'm going to be taking this like bright pink shade, just a little fluffy brush, and I'm gonna put that as like the base color on the center of my eyes and blending that out. A lot of this year has been really fighting back against those beliefs that she gave me, but it's also been a lot of experimenting and trying things I used to love to see if I still love them, and just really taking the time to think about who I want to be as a person and how I can achieve that. And one thing is, I really want to be somebody who puts on makeup and enjoys the process of making a look like this. So, hence why we're doing this video. I'm gonna go back in with this Juvia's Place. There is this super pretty, like, pink metallic color. It is super bright. I'm gonna take it on my finger. I'm just gonna pop it right over that pink that we just laid down, because the pink is gonna act as that little guide. Also popping some right under on my lash line as well. I think that turned out well. Now I'm actually gonna go back in with my brow pencil as eyeliner. Wish me luck. You literally can't see it because of the dark eyeshadow. I have a backup plan. I'm actually, again with this Juvia's Place palette, there is this super dark plum color. I'm actually going to use that on a liner brush. I might not be able to talk through this part. I'm going to be making the strangest of faces, but that's how you know you're doing it correctly. I'm not the best at eyeliner, I've never been, but I feel like that didn't go too bad. Now I can go on to the second eye. I blinked. Strangely, this angle is working. I stabbed myself in the eye. For somebody who's not very good at eyeliner, I will take that. Lashes. Yeah, that has been kind of where I've been at this end of the year going into 2026. I really want next year for me to really be about putting myself first and trying new things, being more brave, putting myself out there, but also taking care of myself, both for my physical health and mental health, and not being afraid to take some risk. Because another thing with getting away from her and getting away from that situation has been the fact that the idea of taking risks and doing a lot of that stuff has been absolutely terrifying. And so I've been playing it pretty safe. My nose is running. And like the idea of doing anything different or change has been so scary. But now I'm at a place where it doesn't feel as bad. It doesn't feel like, I'm not as scared to put myself out there and do things, or even do them alone. Like, I feel like I could, do that sort of stuff and it would be okay. Going in with this NYX Professional Makeup's lip pencil in Mahogany. I think I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. lip tint in the color Berry Queen. I forgot highlighter because I don't have any. That's right. Well, then I'm just gonna take the shimmery pink shade again from the eyeshadow palette and just tap it up here. Put a little on my nose, Cupid's bow. One last spritz. The hair down, the glasses on, shape everything up, and this is our final look. Nothing crazy, Like, I mean, I used to do like flames, skulls, things like that. So for me, this feels tame. But it was just really fun to do all of this again. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you also listen to me yap and tell my story. I can talk a little bit more about my friend and everything that went along with that in another video. If you guys want, let me know. But yeah, this was just something fun I thought the two of us, or all of us, could do together. There's just two of us here. So with that, I will say I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. On screen now, my social media handles if you'd like to see more day-to-day things that I get up to. And with that, I will see you next week for a brand new video. Not next week. In 2 days for the next episode of Vlogmas. I'm gonna forget that every day. Goodbye.